The Audi Q8 is the newest addition to the coupe SUV segment, which is controversial in the car world because they don't really handle much better than a regular SUV and they're less practical. But the Q8 is a leap in the right direction. The Q8 rides on the same MLB Evo platform as the Q7 and even shares the same wheelbase, but the Q8 is shorter, lower, and wider than the Q7, making the design have a little spice. The Audi Q8 is striking. The first thing that you're going to notice are those huge 22-inch rims on this model, but also this nice proportion that it's got going on. Now, walking around the front, you'll be met with a bold grille that Audi is trying to incorporate on new models, and actual vents. Look at this, actual vents. And you'll notice this is a huge hood, just absolutely ginormous, kind of funky headlights up here, followed by your high beams, which are below it. The LED headlights themselves are also neat, and turn signals do the left and right sequence. Plus, the HD matrix lights on the Prestige trim I have here do a little scheme when you press the unlock lock button. Coming around to the side, Audi uses these really sharp lines. They simply couldn't do these in years past because they didn't have the manufacturing equipment to do it, but now they do, and it looks great. Several lines, just here, you see three back to back. What makes it a coupe is the kind of sloping design. It's supposed to mimic what a coupe is, and it's really evident in some other vehicles like the GLE and the X6. But unlike those which look a little awkward, the Q8 manages to look natural and sleek. And you get like kind of what they used to do with old muscle cars, this flat surface right here. Makes it look muscular and wide. One of my favorite parts about the Audi Q8 look is this rear end and with this light that they say is inspired by the Urus Quattro. I don't know where they got that, but it looks great, whatever it is. They can call it Urus Quattro if they want. If you prefer a look with less chrome, the Year 1 package gives you blacked out trim and grills, red brake calipers, aggressive looking rims, and S-line fenders. Overall, the exterior is gorgeous either way. It's big, crispy, and its side profile makes it unique to the Q8. And as you would expect with this price tag, the interior is no slouch either. As I said before, the Q8 is wider than the Q7, and you kind of get that feeling in the cockpit. It's got this huge center stack, which features two displays, both with haptic feedback, which is really good. Unfortunately, you don't have any of Audi's really nice dials, switches. It looks like they're moving away with that. You also get Audi's 12.3-inch virtual cockpit in all Q8 models, along with, of course, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and a 10-speaker audio system is standard. 17-speaker Bang & Olufsen system is optional, and that's what we have in this model, the Prestige. And you can even upgrade beyond that to get sound that I couldn't even imagine, because the 17-speaker is great. For a 23-speaker Bang & Olufsen system with 1900 watts at tap, which is just insane. The Q8 also has a few more party pieces like ambient lighting that looks really awesome at night. It's not just on the feet, it's everywhere. Audi also gives you a Wi-Fi hotspot and advanced LTE capabilities for great download speeds, and a phone box that connects your phone to the car's antenna and wirelessly charges it. The Audi MMI system is fluid and fast, with great looking graphics from the 10.1-inch screen and lower 8.6-inch screen. It kind of reminds me of Land Rover's new setup, which is pretty good. But cool tech isn't the only thing that makes the Q8 feel premium. Materials are all just way up here. It's not super plush, especially on the door panel. A little bit hard for me because I'd rather have my elbows rest on something soft, but this shouldn't stick out to any previous Audi buyers, but I do wish everything was about 15% more plush, especially the elbow rests. The Q8 material choice is beautiful though. The real metal look combined with the dark polished wood and sophisticated tech is a real vibe, and the fit and finish is nearly impeccable. All 4 doors on the model I have here are soft close and have electronic releases put into regular looking door handles that make for an oddly satisfying experience. The steering wheel is a little small, but it looks good. Has metal accents, leather of course stitched. The Q8 just has an attention to detail level that you should come to expect in a $90,000 vehicle, and I'm glad to report that it is here in about every way. So Audi kind of took a hit with the cargo capacity, but they gave you rear legroom and rear space instead. To show you, I was at a comfortable position in there, and even with my 6'3" frame, I have plenty of space for my legs. I have support. I'm a little bit tight on headroom, but even there, I still fit thanks to these nice cutouts that they have up on the ceiling. You do get climate control. Each side has their own temperature that they can set. You get 2 USB ports, vents on the center console, vents over here, some lights. And if you look behind me, you can see part of the Bang & Olufsen system. All right, now we'll move to the cargo. I only have 30.5 cubic feet to work with here, which really is not very much. Class competitive for the coupe SUVs, but when you think about it, a Subaru Forester has 35 cubic feet. And while you do get a neat release system where you can release the middle seat by itself, you only get 60.7 cubic feet total in cargo volume, which is the exact same number that you get with the Mercedes-Benz GLE 43 AMG Coupe, but still a Subaru Forester has 76 point something cubic feet. So you're gonna lose out there, but at least you still get that rear seat space. These big coupe SUVs are usually full of compromises, especially in ride quality. They want to be sporty, but due to their heft, they have to stiffen the suspension up a bunch to compensate body roll, and from a brief few miles on a BMW X6, I could quickly tell those measures ended up creating an SUV that doesn't handle all too well and isn't on the comfort level of a premium SUV. Fortunately, this is not the case with the Audi Q8. The Audi Q8 has the exact same wheelbase as the Q7, and it shares the platform too. And that definitely comes through when you drive it. And that's a positive in about every single way. Now, if you're expecting this to handle super sporty, don't expect that. It's just not, but it's very smooth. But it doesn't feel springy or light on its feet, because I mean, it is 5,000 pounds, but do not think this is kind of a boat, because it's not. It's definitely stiff. When you go over bumps and stuff, it stays composed, which is impressive. It doesn't just crash over things, but it keeps it car-like, and I think that's where that coupe personality is supposed to fit in there. It does give it the ability to be sporty. And it can really dance around if you need it to, and the minimal body roll inspires confidence. It took it over some really bad roads that had been affected by a recent flood, where all of the patches where previous potholes had been thrown up, and this did remarkably well. This model does not have the $4,000 adaptive chassis package, which includes 4-wheel steering and an adjustable air suspension, which would come in handy if you live in rough terrain, as you can get a Toyota 4Runner besting 10 inches of ground clearance. You can actually feel the difference between comfort and dynamic, especially with the throttle response. The throttle response in dynamic is much more reactive, whereas in comfort it's like. But either way, once you plan it and it gets into its boost, it is gone. Now, it isn't fast by any means, but it's effortless. And I think that's what Audi engineers really wanted out of this twin scroll 3-liter turbocharged engine. And they nailed it, especially with torque. 369 pound-feet of torque from 1,370 RPMs. That's just a little bit more than an idle. I mean, of course, it's got a spool, but still, it spools pretty quickly because it's twin scroll. And once you're in that boost, it's going. And it holds it till 4,500 RPM, where you make peak horsepower, I think, in the 5,000 range with 335 horsepower. Again, no rocket ship, 0 to 60 in 5.6 seconds.
Which is about the same as the X6 xDrive 35i and the GLE 43. But both of those have options for more powers. If you want more beans from the Audi, an Q8 seems to be in the works.
It's not meant to be a fast or sporty SUV. I mean, it is supposed to be sporty, but it's not meant to be a quick SUV. It's kind of just a good cruiser, really good cruiser. It's so quiet too, which is a positive and a negative for depending on who you are, but most owners of these are gonna love that. It is so quiet. Just driving through here, the only thing I can hear is like a whisper of wind noise from the mirrors. And they really thought of how your seating position is going to be, and they give you 12-way adjustable seats standard. You can get 18-way adjustable seats with Valcone leather.
The 4-way adjustable lumbar helps personalize the seat to your back, and the center console is at a great height and allows your hand to rest on the padded shifter, which might sound small, but these details add up.
So we do have this in some corners now. So let's see how it handles. All right, we're in dynamic mode. Right away, I can tell you it's numb. I don't think anybody expected it to not be, but it's got a nice weight to it. It does lighten up even more if you go slower. It's so quiet, it's eerie. It's kind of quick. It's odd to be so high off the ground, but I actually still feel pretty confident. Body roll for this 5,000 pound SUV is not bad. It's really well kept. And the steering is precise, very precise. A little bit of understeer there. And come through here. This is handling great. Now, I'm not exactly having a blast or anything, just because it does feels pretty numb. Not as bad as the Audi S6 that I drove. I think you get a little bit more communication than that, in my opinion. It's precise, not pinpoint, despite a really good effort. Just because of that additional weight, it's going to have some body roll, and it did. It's going to lose out to a sports sedan there, but it's still fun. I think most of the buyers for these are not going to care. As far as the transmission goes, you get an 8-speed automatic. There's definitely a little bit, there's a little bit of a hesitation, or there's a little bit of spaces in between shifts. It's not just banging them off, and it's not as quick to respond as a dual clutch is. But it feels satisfyingly mechanical, even though I'm playing with these little plastic shifters on the steering wheel. That's another thing. Give me some metal paddle shifters if you're gonna do that. This is a $80,000 car right here.
Anyway, the Q8 transmission shifts in an entertaining manner for an automatic, but its good programming also means that I have no beef with it when driving normally.
You give it some gas, it'll react, and if you want it to react quicker, keep it in dynamic. You're not going to be revving super high and getting awful gas mileage, but you kind of get awful gas mileage either way. 22 in the highway and 17 in the city, 19 combined. Which I really expected more from this. All Q8s come with a 48-volt mild hybrid setup, which allows it to coast pretty much disengaged, and it will actually even shut off the engine, so you just get additional features with it. It's not actually giving you more boost or something, but it's a neat thing to have. Mercedes-Benz is also doing this with an inline 6 engine. Wish it helped the gas mileage though, but it doesn't. something that's been that I've been triggering here a little bit is the safety suite, which all of them come with adaptive cruise control. There certainly is an upgrade though that will throw in intersection assist, turn assist, traffic assist for the adaptive cruise control, which is interesting. Unfortunately, I can't really test it out today, but the rest of it seems to be working pretty smoothly. If you start to go off, it will usually nudge you a little bit. You can feel it in the steering wheel. It's not too intrusive most of the time. Sometimes if you get to the center line too much, it'll like vibrate the steering wheel a little bit compared to a like Subaru Forester, which has adaptive cruise control standard. That will kind of like grab the wheel a little bit and send you in between lanes. And that's not a bad system either, but it's just a little bit more intrusive than this is.
The Q8 is currently my favorite coupe SUV. I could be basic and call it a great compromise between the luxury SUV and car, but I wouldn't be doing it any justice, because the Q8 excels at being both. It has luxury car passenger space and road manners, along with luxury SUV ride height, off-road prowess, and even towing capacity. Little tangent here, but the Q8 tows 7,700 pounds. That's more than a new Sequoia or a 5.3 liter Tahoe. I think only the Range Rover can match that number as far as unibody vehicles go. But anyway, my point is the Q8 can wrestle a variety of desires, whether it be comfort, safety, off-road capability, or handling. The Q8 has you covered, and covered with style too. If you have 70 grand or more to buy a new car or SUV, the new Audi Q8 is well worth a look. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Big shout out to Royal on the Eastside for helping make this video happen. Royal on the Eastside is a dealership in Bloomington, Indiana. If you are looking for a new or used car, be sure to check them out.